Salute to Knicks Nation on this Friday afternoon at 4:09 p.m. It has been confirmed David Fizdale has been relieved of his duties as the head coach of the New York Knicks. David Fizdale has been fired. Breaking news. Salute to Knicks Nation out there. CP from KnicksFanTV checking in. This is a breaking news edition of KnicksFanTV, number one show for the fans, by the fans. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, we'll also talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, and post-game live analysis featuring live callers. Hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Hey, we knew this was going to be the case after two 30-point losses by this team. This was the first time in franchise history that this team has lost by 30-plus points. They lost by 37 points last night to the Denver Nuggets, and they lost by 44 points to the Milwaukee Bucks. Something had to give. And what you didn't like, yes, you can talk about the roster. You could talk about the clunky fit of these pieces, but there was just a certain way that this team was competing or not competing, the lack thereof, that was just alarming in terms of were they really responding to this coach. And we saw last night James Dolan was in the building, the Knicks higher-ups were in the building, Steve Mills, Scott Perry as well, and Dolan was right there front and center. And at halftime, when the Nuggets had gotten out to a 34-18 second quarter scoring advantage, Dolan never returned. They said Dolan never returned to his seat, and so you knew from there you can kind of speculate that something was off there. And so here we go today. David Fizdale has been relieved of his duties as the New York Knicks head coach. The 29th head coach in franchise history. The 12th head coach in almost 20 years. 12 head coaches in almost 20 years. That's almost 1.5 coaches per year. To tell you how the carousel just continues to go. And again, with Fizdale, I had hoped that things were going to work out. I had hoped that, he was going to be the guy that could help turn this thing around. Or maybe the guy that could be the stepping stone to us really getting back to respectability and contention and contending status. But, the last 2 years, obviously, it just hasn't worked out that way, man. I mean, last year you're talking about a 17-65 record last year and a 4-18 start this year. It's not good. That's not good at all, man. That's 21-83 for Fizz in 2 years. And again, I know you guys want to talk about the roster for sure. The roster was not built to be worth much. The roster was very clunky. As you said, we signed a lot of guys who play similar roles and don't really complement each other that well. They don't play defense that well. You could question the IQ of some of these guys. Offensively, they just weren't together. And so it was a mess. It was a mess. And so David Fizdale, Keith Smart are gone. Mike Miller has been elevated to the interim coach. Mike Miller has been entered as the interim coach. And you kind of suspected that because when they called him up over the summer, it was very interesting that they did. And I always wondered, when we had Alan Hahn on the show, I really wanted to ask him whether or not this was an organizational decision to bring Mike Miller up, or was this a Fizdale decision to bring Mike Miller up? Obviously, Mike Miller was highly touted from his G League experience, the success, quote unquote, that they had in Westchester. And so Mike Miller was brought up to the staff. And now this is his audition. This is Mike Miller's audition. 22 games into it. He's got 60 games left to make his mark on this team. And what is it going to be? What is it? We're still looking for an identity. What is it going to be? And I think this is also a 60-day tryout for Steve Mills. I really do believe that. I really do believe that if this team still doesn't show progress within that time, I think Dolan buries Mills as well. Maybe he still does, regardless. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And that's what we have, man. That's what we have. Let's go to the phones. The phones are up. Let me know. We don't have them screened right now. Dave is in school. He's got other things to do. This was an impromptu show. What we're going to do is once Jay Ellis gets home, we'll come back on for the evening crew, evening shift. This was just an impromptu live. So we're going to go to the phones. This is area code 469. What's up, man? Who's this? And where you from, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? This is Kendall from Dallas.
Kendall, what's up, man?
Big Knicks fan. Been a Knicks fan for years, so it's kind of weird to be in Dallas being a Knicks fan. But, hey, man, I just had to call in. I just started looking at your show probably like a couple weeks ago. But
okay, perfect timing, man. Perfect timing.
I'm happy Fizdale is fired. I'm not a big Mark Jackson fan. I wanted Mike Budenholzer. Good offensive structure. I don't know why we didn't sign him, but I don't know what's going to happen. The roster is terrible, like you've been saying, but it got to be better than this, man. Like, this is horrible. I can't even finish games, man. It's like, I almost canceled my league pass. I'm like, but I don't even want to watch the games anymore. It's pointless. No defense, no, it's like players are playing with no compassion, no intensity, no IQ. It's like DSJ looks like he's just bored half the time.
Yeah.
And I had big hopes for him.
Me too, man.
Because I've seen him all the time in Dallas. Come to New York, who we should have picked in the first place. And then he just, like, I don't know. It's like he hit a wall. Now he can't shoot. Don't play defense. But I don't know, man. I guess up and up from here on out, I guess. So,
well, you could only hope because it can't get no worse than this, man.
My point. So, thanks for having me on the show, man. I love the show. Keep rocking out, man.
Kendall, man, thanks, man. Welcome to the program, bro.
All right.
That was Kendall from Dallas. Let's go to area code 646. Who's this, man? Hello.
Yo, this is Nick from Manhattan.
Nick, what's going on, man? How you feeling, bro?
What's good, bro? It's rough, you know. I like you, I wanted Fizz at the beginning. I hope for the best. Well, my biggest problem at this point, I guess, was not playing our young guys. I guess it's tough, you know. Obviously, our roster is filled with all these random vets, you know, who are out looking for their next contract. At the end of the day, what was weird about him is not playing our young guys, and I didn't see any offensive structure. That's what I was really missing. I mean, like, he kind of got our guys to play defense sometimes, but I didn't see anything, no pick and roll, no ball movement, and I know he preached it, but, like, even last year, it was all ISO ball, everything like that. I mean, at the end of the day, the problem is I don't know what kind of coach would want to take this roster up. At this point, we kind of have to go with Mike Miller because I wouldn't want to take this if I was a coach looking out there on the market.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not surprised at this at all, man. To be honest, let's just keep it real. A lot of the optimism stemming from the preseason was really just optimism. Like it wasn't anything to go off of that would say this team is gonna be an improvement from last year. It was just really just hoping. But honestly, I'm not surprised at this. I knew they were going to get off to a slow start. I knew this schedule was going to be the equalizer for him. I made a video the day after the press conference, and I said he's not going to make it. I told you that from the jump. He's not going to make it past with this schedule.
Every single team we played was a playoff team last year.
Yeah.
There was no way we were going to get through this with him.
There was no way. There was no way. And you know, depending on who you talk to, a lot of us, we do say we didn't see much of an offense. Maybe it was just them not executing it. You know, a lot of guys, you talk to some of the scouts, they say they run a lot of the same sets that are run out here in the NBA. But I think it's a lot of guys not moving. I think it's a lot of guys not moving. You have guys who are not spacing the
That
floor
could be,
well.
but I guess what I see generally is like when they come up the court, their first set is always to move the ball side to side. So they do a
I
nice
agree.
little, side to side play pretty much every goddamn time.
Yeah, I agree. They're moving
They don't
east to
change it up.
west
If
and
you're-
not
if
north
you're
and
gonna
south.
Mix it
Man.
up, and they're moving east and west every single time down the floor.
Yep.
And I mean, whatever it is, whether they're not running, whatever he wants it or not, it's like, if you were saying, okay, let's run a pick and roll, right? Like in D'Antoni's system, you stand in the corner, you run a pick and roll, switch the weak side once the pick and roll occurs so that the defense gets confused. You just do something simple. We're not even doing the simple shit right.
Not even. All good, man. All good. Hey, man, it's a passionate Knicks fan, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, Nick. Hang in there, man. Hang in there. And that, that's the thing. They're not even doing the simple things right, as Nick alluded to. And again, is that on the personnel? Yes, definitely. But again, Fizz has to work with the pieces. And we talked about accountability. Q talked about it last night. He talked about accountability for these guys. When these guys make mistakes, you're not seeing these guys get held accountable. Randall not really being held accountable. Morris not really being held accountable. Even, a lot of the vets. Ellington is still getting burnt, was still getting playing time when he wasn't doing much out there. Just a lot of a lack of accountability there, and that's certainly concerning. Nick made a point about the young guys. I think, RJ was getting, reasonable burn. Frank was getting burned. DSJ was getting his burn. I think the guys that may have been buried are Knox and ISO. Knox and ISO were definitely the ones getting buried in those rotations. And once again, I think if Ellington's not going to give you nothing, I'd rather go with ISO, flaws and all. And to me, once again, Bobby Portis does not need to play. I've been telling you that since like game 2. I don't need Bobby Portis out there playing because, number one, he's not going to rebound well. He's not playing defense well. So I let me live with Knox's flaws. Let me live with ISO's flaws. And let's go with the young guys. Who do you guys like? I see the chat going crazy. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Emergency broadcast, KnicksFanTV, emergency live. Like I said, once Jay Ellis gets on steady ground, we'll come back on later this evening and take some calls for the weekend crew, for the nighttime crew. Who's your replacement? Are you good with Mike Miller for the future? Do you want to see a bit more of Mike Miller before you can make that decision on him? I do. I don't take the Westchester success as much. I want to see what happens here and how he adjusts to what Fizz was doing. And I see the Jackson Hive is going. I see the Jackson Hive is going right now. So let's see. The Jackson Hive is alive and well, man. I see Jeff Van Gundy, so on and so forth, man. All right, let's go back to the phones. 817 area code. What's up, man? Who's this and where you from?
What's good, CP?
Q.
Yo.
Talk to me, man.
Good,
How you feeling, man?
Working. I'm like, yo, man. I'm at work and I'm like, yo, what the heck? My phone's blowing up. People just, and I'm like, I didn't fire him. Everybody asking me. Man, it's crazy. But I'll tell you this, man. I hate to see a dude lose his job, but Phil, he put this on himself, Fizz.
Yeah.
I think the one key that the front office really looked at is like the players they drafted. They're taking steps back. ISO's not playing. Mitch looks like a recluse at times. Knox looks like he shouldn't even been drafted. So you're looking at, RJ looks like he can go down a slope. So the front office is like, yo, somebody got to be the problem here.
Yeah.
And then this is New York. If you don't show any progress, and they said it. They said
You're
it.
gone.
We need to see progress.
Got to see progress, man.
And they didn't show progress.
Got to see progress. And,
Yeah,
and
they
the,
didn't
the
show
quickest
progress,
person
so-
to move on from is the coach. You can't move players that fast. Some of them you're going to be stuck
Right.
with for a little bit. And so that's just what it is. Like, the coach is always going to be the first scapegoat, rightly or wrongly.
Completely. absolutely, and it's a business at the end of the day. I'm just glad they got Smart out of there, because I don't need that guy around, because you could tell he's messing up guys' jump shots. It's like you could tell automatically that guy, and he was arguing that one game. It just seemed like
it's very interesting that they let Keith Smart go and everybody else got stayed on. Very interesting that they let Keith Smart go, but Dolan was probably like, he ruined DSJ, and then you had him out there teaching RJ how to shoot. Nolan was like, I got to pull the plug fast.
Yeah, I got to get this guy to the paint. So the last point I want to make before I bounce is what's weird is that with Fizz, you think about it, promise did not come to pass, but Moutier. I'm going to get you wrong, kid. That was it.
That was it.
I know.
That was his take that for data quote, man.
Know. Yeah, man. So, hey, he don't know. Hey, Mike Miller's the guy. Hopefully he makes some progress, and, this can get better, because we ain't got nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere else to go but up, man. Well said, Q. Have a good weekend, my dude. 910 area code. Who's this? Where you from, man? Hello?
Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. What's up, man?
You hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, bro.
This is Los, man.
Los, what's up, man? How you feeling, man?
Hey, so what's good? What's good? So, do you think David Fizdale will get another job in the NBA?
No. Not as a head coach. He'll have to go back to assistant status, but no. Look at his track record. He had a 20-80-something record. What team is gonna, present that to their fans? He's got to build his way back in. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. And who is your preference for the next head coaching job?
Man, the sentimental value, and just because I know he could probably turn his team around, to me it'd be Van Gundy, man. That was my pick. Budenholzer was my first pick. Van Gundy was my second. I don't think he would ever take this again. And you could argue whether he may have lost touch with the game. I just think with a young roster, I think Van Gundy's the guy. You need somebody that's going to hold these guys accountable, man, and get these guys really going, get these guys motivated, and understands the environment, understands the atmosphere. And it's not just talking just for the sake of talking. That was one thing with Fizz, was like a lot of the stuff he said was like it came back to bite him because he wasn't practicing what he preached out there.
Right.
The Mark Jackson thing, to me, I want to stay clear of controversy. I don't want no type of controversy. I don't want a guy who's had a bad reputation around the league. I want a guy that's had a good reputation around the league. I know the Jackson Hive is buzzing, man. I see people in the chat. The Hive is buzzing, but I don't know. I'm not going that route.
Yeah, the thing about Mark Jackson, right? Like, how they say everybody deserves a second opportunity. It don't seem like he's getting it, though. It seems like,
and that's a problem.
I'm pretty sure he learned from his mistakes.
Yeah. That's a problem to me, man.
Right.
With the record and the track record that he had with Golden State. For him, I don't believe that there was one time, maybe with the Cavs when LeBron was there, that he even got another opportunity to interview, much less another job. I don't even think he interviewed with other teams outside of the Knicks last year. Questionable. That's questionable.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I feel you though, man. But that's all I want to say, and I'm out. Every time you go live, you already know I'm in there.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, Lowe's, man. Appreciate the support, man. It's an emergency stream, man. For the fans, by the fans. You know what's up. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. I'm going to put my fan poll up here. Who should be the next head coach? And hopefully you guys vote in the poll. I see Dave Yeager's name is getting a lot of buzz. I know a lot of people in the chat been asking me about him. I got to see what his deal is too, man. Why hasn't he been under consideration for other positions. I see somebody said Kenny Smith. What do you guys think about the Jet? No experience. Somebody in the chat said Nick Nurse. Get Nick Nurse in here. Phil Jackson. Ah, man. Another, as the world turns, Nick edition, man. The drama just continues to follow this team, man. But, we got to get right. We have got to get right. And, listen, man, I'm here to see this thing through. That's why we live right now. That's why we are live. Let's go back to the phones. I think 203's up next. Who's this? Where you from, man?
What's up, CP? It's Aaron. I'm from Connecticut.
How you
Can
feeling,
you hear
man?
me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead. What's your point, man?
Yeah. So, I got to be honest. I'm super excited about the direction now that we're going in. I know some people may be a little sentimental or sad because someone just lost their job, but to be honest, Fizdale fleeced us. You know what I'm saying? Like he's still he has to get the money from the contract, so he's still making his money without doing anything, and he didn't do anything while he was here. So I think it's awesome that we're going from him. I know you said you feel like the roster that we built wasn't that great, but personally, I feel like it's better than the Wizards. I think it's better than the Cavs. I think it's better than the Hornets. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think this team could compete for an 8th seed at the least, with just competent coaching. And, I might be preaching to the choir, but I just think it has to be said. I think, this was the right move. I know a lot of people get mad at the head office, and I think this offseason was the first time they showed competency. They didn't sign anyone to any insane contracts. Maybe you could say the Randall one was bad.
Yeah.
But to be honest, when Bismack Biyombo's making $17 million for 2 more seasons,
it ain't crazy.
And we have
it ain't the
Randall
worst.
on a team contract, I don't mind that,
Yeah.
I don't really mind it. And in terms of who I'd like for a new coach, I think the guy from Westchester, he looks pretty good. The fact that he got the G League Coach of the Year, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, just anyone who's willing to run pick and roll, anyone who's willing to do anything new. I really like, for a long-term coach, though, someone from college basketball scene, because these are people who they aren't given the greatest amount of talent, but they make it work, And also, last thing, sorry, but Keith Smart, thank God he's out of here because, we saw, you said it, but we saw what he did to DSJ. If he had stayed for the summer, oh, my God.
Yeah, they got him up out of there.
RJ, oh, man,
Yeah.
I would have been done. I don't know what I would have done, but, yeah. I'm really excited. I'm happy that it happened in Q1 and we didn't wait too long. So, yeah.
Factuals, man. Appreciate it, man. Hang in there. I don't think we're making the playoffs, dog, even with this coaching change. I just don't see it. But, hey, like I said, we're just looking for a little bit of improvement. Just a little bit of improvement. I said 30 wins. That's far, far away. 500 is far, far away. That's a little bit of improvement, man. That's it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boy. We got 687 large going in on the chat. Let me slow down the chat a little bit so I can read a little something. Where you guys checking in from? Throw your cities in the chat. Let me see where you guys are checking in from so I can salute you guys. We heard from people calling all over the country, man. Dallas, Connecticut, Atlanta. Salute to everybody watching, man. Bala Joey says he's catching an 8-hour flight today. Well, hopefully that'll get you. This will get you a little bit through the day. We've been hearing from Knicks fans checking in, weighing in on this Fizdale firing. I'm hearing a lot of people are okay with this. I haven't heard anybody yet that's against it. We don't have Dave in here screening the call, so I can't really see what side of the fence you guys are on, because then I could definitely go to it. But we'll get to somebody who's against it. Mike Oliva checking in from VA Beach. What up, Mike? Fel B, San Antonio. What's going on? New Jizzle in the building. He says, just give me Mike Miller, pick and roll offense and non-switching defense. Yeah, the three-pointers were killing us last night. absolutely killing us last night, man. 21 three-pointers made. The Nuggets shot around 50-something% from three. And there was just no relief in sight for us, man. We were just getting blown out of the water. Shout out Tattooed Power Ranger checking in from England. We got London in the building. Kim Shaffart, what's going on? Uptown Harlem World, Sid Leonard. We got Matt Milzewski checking in from Melbourne, Australia. What's going on? Mike White, Long Island, stand up. You know, Long Island's my home, so shout out to Long Island. We got Clowner Joshua checking in from Luxembourg. Okay. We're worldwide, man. Daniel Walker also checking in from England, no doubt. All right, so let's get back to it. Area code 813, you're up. Who's this? Where are you from?
CP, what's going on? This is Rock from Atlanta.
Who's this?
Rock from Atlanta.
Oh, Rock, what's up, man? How you feeling tonight, Rock?
I'm good, man. I'm just looking at it. I know Fizdale didn't have the best roster, but I just felt like even last year's team played better than this year's team.
Yeah, surprising.
And my thing is just run with the young dudes, man.
Yeah.
Just run with the young dudes just like they're doing in Cleveland. And I would say start Mitch, Randall, Knox, Garrett, and either Frank or DSJ, and then let everybody else fill in the roles because that's the future. I mean, as far as coaching change, they got a lot of good coaches out there. I just don't think that they look at them. You know what I mean? Like, Cassell's been on the bench, and I saw in the chat somebody said Emmy Udoka, and then you got Becky Hammond. You got a lot of different young coaches that just need opportunities that people just not taking chances on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sam I Am is definitely intriguing. Appreciate it, Rock. Appreciate it. I think Cassell is intriguing. I think Kenny Smith would definitely be intriguing. Becky Hammond, I told y'all, man, no. San Antonio's not letting her walk out that door, number one. And I wouldn't want her to be the first guinea pig in this market. So we need somebody that it's just battle tested. That's what somebody said a college coach. I'm just not so sure, man. This is a very, very unique situation. Somebody said hire me for the coach, Mike. All right, yeah, I'll take it on, man. I would definitely do it. You know, I would definitely do it. Me and Chris Childs. I would hire Chris Childs for the bench. You know what I mean? I would hire Chris Childs from the bench, man. Area code 203. Who's this? Where you from, man?
Hey, what's going on, Knicks fans out there? What's up, man?
How you feel, man?
Hello?
Yeah, loud and clear,
man.
Bro.
What's going on, man? I ain't seen you since the game, the home opener. We all booed everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Isaiah's calling in tonight. Okay. All right.
You haven't seen me since April, man.
It's been a minute, my guy. It's been a minute. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Listen, man. ESPN's gonna try to flip this whole thing and talk about, the Knicks haven't had, didn't have talent, which is total BS, man. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of people talk about the Knicks had some tough-minded dudes that they felt were good signings that gave Knicks B's and stuff. So I don't want to hear none of that. The Knicks didn't have nobody because if you really watch the games, man, you're talking about a dude that didn't hold players accountable, didn't get in dudes' faces. How you gonna come from the Pat Riley tree and we have no defense, we have no defensive identity, nothing. This dude was not a good coach. I'm with you though. Don't sign Becky Hammond. Don't do that.
No.
Because we all know how that's going to look.
No.
Don't do a college coach. Listen, man, I personally like Mike Miller. I don't know if he's a long-term thing, but I like Mike Miller for now. Don't sign Tom Thibodeau. And please, Nick Van. I know people want to hear this name. Don't sign Mark Jackson. Look up Mark Jackson. Don't sign Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not with it.
You're not gonna be happy at the end of the story. But you know what, man? I think this time the Knicks just have to take their time. You know what's crazy, man? I watch a lot of the Knicks podcast with Jonathan Mackey, and he made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to think about this. When the Knicks wanted Steve Kerr, they didn't get Steve Kerr. They got Plan B, which is Derek Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks didn't get The Knicks wanted Mike Budenholzer, ended up with David Fizdale. So the Knicks are picking the right guys for Plan A. Plan B is what sucks. Plan B is what's getting them the coaches they don't want. So I feel like what the Knicks should do, man, is actually try their best to get to Plan A. Get Plan A, because the Knicks have been picking good Plan A players. It's just when they don't get the guys, they go to Plan B, and Plan B sucks.
Plan B sucks,
So
man.
I think the main thing the Knicks should do is Plan B sucks, man. So I think what the Knicks really need to do is try their best to get Plan A. If they can do whatever they can to get Plan A, get Plan A.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call, Isaiah. Hey, listen. Everybody would want Plan A in their life, right? You know, I'd love my Plan A would be to have, $10 million is raining on me right now. Like, don't always work that way. You know, with the Budenholzer thing, I don't know if it's they chose Fizz over him or did he choose the Bucks over the Knicks. I don't remember what the case was there. I wish we would have gotten him because he was my first choice. He was definitely my first choice, but I know I wasn't against the Fizdale hiring when we first got him. I definitely wasn't against the Fizz hiring. I thought when he came in, I thought, the Riley coaching tree, as you alluded to, I thought that was going to help because I thought he was going to help us establish that defensive identity, which never came to fruition. Also a younger coach, somebody who's a young upstart that can grow with the team. Those are some of the things that I'd like with Fizdale in terms of the prospects and why I didn't mind that even if we didn't get Budenholzer. I did like that we would have gotten Fizz, but it just wasn't working out, man. It just wasn't working out. And the two areas, a couple areas, the lack of identity not being established, the young players, a lot of young guys regressing. And we know progress isn't linear, right? Progress isn't a straight line. As when young guys come in, you have the rookie season, and they always talk about the sophomore slump, which could be what Kev is experiencing, what Mitch is experiencing, what ISO is ISO. I think he's a different case, but maybe those guys are going through that a little bit. Jason Tatum certainly went through it, and I'm not comparing those guys' pedigree to his, but I'm just saying it's a realistic thing. But I just think there were too many issues that Fizz was dealing with, and I think he was just in an uphill climb. I think he was just in an uphill climb, so just didn't work out. As you guys said, definitely not advocating for people to lose their jobs by no means, but, this is a business. This is the business that these guys get themselves into, and this is the reaction. This is what happens. You got to produce. Or show some signs. The front office said consistency and improvement, and you weren't seeing either. And you can't blame them. They didn't say much about wins. They said consistency and improvement. So you can't really blame them. I want to shout out Jazzy Ali checking in from Croatia. What's going on? Salute to Croatia. I hear that's a beautiful country as well. We got Whoopi Goldberg votes in here. People want Eddie. A lot of people been talking that Eddie stuff, man. Get Whoopi in here, coach the team. Salute to everybody that sent the super chat. One Young Bale, he's a Nets fan. He said, all that being said, CP, tell your Knicks fans no more Nets slander. This is what your 14th coach in almost 20 years. Y'all ain't been the same since Beepers was out. Shout out to One Young Bale. Hey, he's right, man. We haven't been right since Beepers, man. I remember I had my beeper. Beeper was late. Used to put the little codes in there, 911. Text your girl. I forgot the code you used to text your girl for like the number version of I love you and all that. Like, yeah, man. A lot of you young kids don't know about the beeper days, man. You guys jumped right into this to touchscreen cell phones, man. We had to crawl before we could walk. We were playing with the Nokia phones, a snake game on Nokia. Now you guys got full-blown Call of Duty and Fortnite straight through the phone, man. It's a different day. Michael Lever sends a super chat, $2 super chat. He says they should hire Birdie from above the rim. Definitely, man. Definitely. All right, back to the phones we go. 732 area code. Who's this? Where you from, man?
Hey, Zach. How you doing?
Good, man. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Joe K from New Jersey. What do you think about Tom Thibodeau?
Nah, I'm good on Tibbs, man. I'm good on Tibbs. I don't think he's the guy for us. I don't think he's the guy for us. And like I said, I don't know if it was, maybe the players on the Timberwolves are too soft. And I did like Tibbs as a prospect when Phil was here. But just the Minnesota stint kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if Tibbs is the right guy for this. I don't know. What do you think? I guess you won.
I want Jeff Van Gundy or Mark Jackson. Those two.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, defensive minded coach. That's what we need.
Yeah, I thought we were getting that with Fizz, man, and appreciate the call. Like I said, I don't know if that's the personnel or he just wasn't connecting with them, or he just wasn't holding these guys accountable. Like, that was Fizz's resume. He was a defensive-minded coach. I said, yes, I want Budenholzer, but let's bring in Fizz. I'm down with it. Protect the guard and all that stuff they were talking about. I bought into it. Nah. That didn't turn out, man. Point guards always seem to have a lot of success as head coaches in the league. Again, players play, but Steve Kerr, you see Brad Stevens, Doc Rivers, Mark Jackson had his success as well. Point guards seem to have a lot of success in the league. You could argue that, what the reason is, but maybe Sam Cassell is a sleeper. Maybe Sam Miami is a sleeper. Avery Johnson had some early success. Kenny Atkinson certainly having some success right now. There's a lot of guys in the league. A lot of the coaches are former point guards, if you look at it. Somebody said Derek Fisher. Nah, that was just a big mistake. Fisher was just a big mistake, man. Area code 229, you up next. How you feeling tonight?
Yo.
What up, man? Who's this? Where you from, man?
This is Billy, man. I'm from the Bronx, but I live in Atlanta, man.
Okay, Billy, what's good, bro? How you feeling, man? How you feeling about this coaching change, man?
Yo, really? All right, let's get into it right now. First off, I love your show.
Thank you.
Tune in all the time. Let's get to this Fizdale cat. Fizdale tricked everybody. He's bum juice. All right? I'm glad he's gone. Now, in regard to his replacement, I don't got a name for you, but we got to get somebody in here that's tough. All that Mark Jackson stuff, that's going to be dead because that was yesteryear. This is a tricky situation we have here because we have a clumsy roster.
Right.
But before you go to pick this next head coach or try to even choose one, you got to finish draining the swamp because Mills is still there with his antics. He is the main reason. He's the main guy for all of this. He's the guy. Isn't he the same guy who traded Hardaway and traded for him back? Is that him?
Yeah. Well, no, he traded him to sign him to a worse deal. He's got to go, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's got to go.
He got to go. So you can't have him there and then choose a coach that will just undermine what you're trying to do.
Facts.
And with Fizdale, my gripes with Fizdale was this. He did a lot of favoritism as far as I'm concerned. Here we are. We got Frank. He can actually run an offense to a certain degree. He's not the most aggressive cat, but he can run the offense. And he actually passed the ball. He wants DSJ to run. That's a no-no. Mm-hmm. That's a no-no right there. Number two is this carte blanche that he gives Randall.
There it is. Where's the accountability for your best player on the team, quote unquote, man? Come on, man. Come on. Man. It's not
He's on the floor. When it's crunch time, he hits the floor. That's it. He just hit the floor. Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad Fizdale's gone. Mills up next. And you got to get a coach in here that actually knows basketball and holds these cats accountable because our young guys are regressing, every last one of them. Mitch is still going for the pump fake. What's the light-skinned boy? What's his name? Knox. I like Knox. He tried to improve over the offseason. Can't get him in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Just Fizz.
Back to the drum board, Billy.
And one thing
go ahead, man. Go ahead, last point.
One last thing I like to say. Let me get one last little point. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of guys, you as well as other guys, talking about, I'm sorry this guy lost his job. I shed no tears for millionaires who just lost their job. Sorry. Go get another one. He'll be all right.
All right, man. Yo, hang in there, Billy. Thanks for supporting
Thanks,
me,
man.
man. Thanks for supporting the movement.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Salute to Billy, man. Yeah, listen, I mean, like I said, this is what they signed up for. This is the pinnacle, but it's still human nature, right? It's still human nature. You could just see Fizz's his energy level, his whole aura, everything, game after game. I mean, you couldn't even see his eyes even during the game. He was feeling the losses from the first quarter. I mean, the guy was just super stressed, and it was funny because he was even at practice today. Fizz was at practice. Kenyon Martin was at practice. So it's just very, very weird. Maybe they brought Kenyon in there for security just in case Fizz flipped out on Mills. Fizz from South Central, man. Don't play around. He may look like a nice guy. Don't let the glasses fool you. Fizz is from the hood now. Don't get it twisted. So maybe they brought Kenyon to practice for a little muscle just in case things got a little awry. Yeah, as the world turns in Knicks Nation, man. As the world turns in Knicks Nation, man. You just can't make this thing up. But yeah, once again, we just knew this was. I knew this was going to come down to it. You can't survive 2 back-to-back outings when you get blown out by 30. The Kings game, you got blown out at home. The first Cavs game, you get blown out at home. You just can't do it. You can't do it. The owner's sitting right there, front row. I saw once Dolan was there like that, and then never came back. I said it on Twitter last night. I said this is probably the last of Fizz. This is probably the last of Fizz. So, they put him out as misery last night, man. So long to Fizz. How many people we got in here? We got on YouTube 950. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Let's hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Once again, CP from KnicksFanTV. My partner JLS isn't here yet, but we'll get back to you guys later on this evening. Hit that thumbs up on the count of 3. Hit that like button. That is the number one way to support the show. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Also, while I have your attention here, you guys know this show is sponsored by Scotch Porter Premium Beard Products. I'm going to let you in on the secret. This is the product I use to get my beard right, fellas. You got to start off with the beard wash. Then I use the beard conditioner to get it nice and smooth. And then you finish it off. You finish it off with the serum and then the balm. And then there you go. It's not greasy. It doesn't look like Soul Glow. Keeps your joint nice. It keeps it fresh. Keeps it smooth. And it keeps it moisturized. It's very important. It's wintertime out here in New York, man. The hawk is out. You got to keep your hair in motion. Keep your beard nice and fresh, man. So that's it. So anyway, there's a 50% off offer on these Scotch Porter brands. 50% off all their collections. Even if you don't have a beard, they got hair products, they have facial products. It's all for men, all type of products for men, and it's all natural ingredients. All natural ingredients. Very important that I say that because, it's not none of those synthetic fragrances and stuff like that a lot of these cheaper brands use. So that's that. So hit the link in there to get your 50% off for the holiday season and support your boy. If you're just tuning in, David Fizdale has been fired. The interim coach right now, they haven't really named one officially, but you got to think it's Mike Miller. I would have to think it was Mike Miller. David Fizdale has been let go. David Fizdale has been let go. The 29th coach in franchise history. And, the 12th coach in almost 20 years. The 12th coach in almost 20 years. That's almost 1.5 coaches each year, man. And Fizz is sporting a 21-83 record in 2 years. 21-83 record in 2 years. It's hard for anybody to survive that. It's very difficult for anybody to survive that. We always talked about the Philly situation with, Brett Brown. And they had they had a 10-win season. They had a 10-win season. And he survived it, man. But, it's a different situation. So we'll see. Where do we go from here? What's the next move? hey, I'm sure the players feel terrible about this. The players are going to have to step up. Step up. And like I said, the most important player right now on this team is R.J. Barrett. I've been saying this since the offseason started. Coming off of the Porzingis fiasco, it's very important to make sure that we have a sound structure in place for R.J. Barrett. Because this is a kid whose future we need to be fully invested in. I feel like he could be a piece for us going forward as we continue to build this team. And we need to put that foundation in place for him. Right now, hey, listen, players lose coaches all the time. It won't be the end of the world. But you want to show that they can trust the direction of this team. And I think that's part of the reason why we parted ways with Porzingis. We don't know the full story of Porzingis, but it has to be it has to be that his camp did not trust the direction of this team and wanted to move forward. So we got to make sure that we put that infrastructure in place and make sure that we show RJ that this is the place that we're going to help him develop and grow and contend. Because as you see, his parents at the game, his whole family's invested. This is not a kid who's just in the league and his family's on the sidelines just watching and happy. Nah, his family, he comes from a basketball family. His father, his mother, Steve Nash's godfather. So we got to make sure that we keep the house in order for RJ. So, my man from ATL, Billy, Steve Mills, I think has to go as well. Steve Mills has to go as well. He's sporting a 160-something and like 350 record as the president of his team. And you talk about the Timmy deal. Look what we had to do just to get out of the Timmy deal. You had to trade Porzingis. So Mills has to go, man. Clean house. Nuke this whole thing, Jimmy D. Nuke the whole thing. Start fresh. Like I said, if you want to know who we should bring in, yeah, I'm all for Ujiri. I don't think the rumors are real. But if I'm being real, I'm going to trade Morris. I'm trying to get an extra pick. And I'm trying to put one of those picks or maybe one of the Dallas picks. That's a little too high. Maybe it's a little too high. And go get Ujiri from Toronto. Blank check and let's go. You know what I mean? Blank check and let's go. All right, let's get back to the phones. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Perry, I like Perry. I like what Perry brings to the table, but I think if Mills is gone, you would clean the whole thing up. So, unfortunately, that would be his fate. All right, 631 area code. Let's go to Long Island. Who's this, man? Where you from?
It's Dan from Long Island, man.
Dan, how you feeling, man? Yeah, I don't have Dave right now screening the calls, man. So we're going blind, man. But I appreciate it, Dan. How you doing?
No, that's cool, yo. I'm at my desk, and the tweet came over my phone, and I called you. I put on YouTube right away,
yeah.
And I was so glad to see that you're on because I've been calling for this for weeks on your show.
Yeah.
But here's a couple of things. First of all, let me say that my man, that kid Billy from Atlanta, who's from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him he didn't have to tell us he was from the Bronx. I heard that accent, bro. He's from the Bronx. He didn't sound like he was from Atlanta. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
He said something very correctly. I don't think it makes you any less human to feel bad for this guy being fired. But let's just be honest, though.
Mm-hmm.
When we think of people getting fired, it's not like he got fired from the sanitation truck. My man could be sitting on $2 million a year.
He'll be A-okay. It's going to be a good Christmas for Fizz, regardless.
That's what I'm saying. This ain't like you sent me home and it's like, how am I going to feed my family? You
Yeah.
sent this cat home. He don't got to do nothing. And so that's the first thing. Number two, here's the thing. CP, I got mad respect for you. You know what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks, right? The national media is going to be all over Dolan and the Knicks. They don't watch the games, though. Anybody, a person like you, a person like JL, a person like the people who are in your chat, we watch every game. There is no way you could watch every game and watch Mason Plumlee play last night like he's a dominant center, okay? We go down by 20 by halftime. Can you imagine if you're an advertiser on MSG and you're like, listen, your fan base is leaving in the second quarter. I'm not going to advertise with you. Can you? I mean, there's a lot of things that go to this. You have to be a competitive team. And I see some people in the chat who are like, oh, it wasn't Fizdale's fault. So what do you want to do? I want to ask those people, what do you want to do? Then, you know what? I'll tell you what. For all those people in the chat who want to kiss Fizdale, hire me as the coach. I'll do it for $500,000 a year if you don't care about results. Yeah. I'm just saying, it's amazing to me. To me, the answer is this. I understand if you want to get rid of Perry, but Mills. But if you're getting rid of Mills, that's okay. But you're getting rid of Perry. I think the only reason Mills is around is because they want to keep Perry. Because you can't fire Mills and make Perry the chick and make Perry the president.
Yeah.
Because how do you promote a guy with this terrible record?
No,
so I think
he would go with him.
Quandary with Mills.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to go. So I think that's the problem. But I think the answer is, as far as I don't know what the answer is, but I think you make Mills the interim, okay, and then you have to decide what you're going to do. If you're going to just say to let's say Van Gundy, here's a check. You'll be the president and the coach and whatever the hell else you want to be. If you're going to do that, you're going in a direction. If you're going to go with the young coach, who the young guys will listen to, that's fine. But you got to really pick a direction. I think letting Mike Miller finish out the rest of the year is the right thing. You could do it for cheap. He ain't going to cost you a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Have him finish out the season, and let's see what he does. But here's the fact of the matter to everybody, especially our people in your chat who, again, I don't know if they're watching the game. If anybody who's a true fan is telling me with a straight face that that Ellington is doing something that ISO can't do, you're crazy. You're crazy, okay? Ellington shouldn't be playing. Porter shouldn't be playing. The kids should be playing. If we're going to lose, I don't need to lose with Morris. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand they had to spend $98 million. What's the rule? You have to spend $98 million on your roster.
Yeah, they had to spend about 90% of it, yeah.
Right. So if you have to spend $98 million, they spent $103. So to all the fans, you paid all these guys all this money. Well, somebody had to get the money. That's in the union contract.
Yeah.
So my point is you're looking at this team right now, okay? You can't have Knox on the perimeter. He's got to slash a little bit like he did at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. He's not playing well. You can't have Zoe on the bench. I know DSG is out of shape, not playing well, but you know what? You got to see what you have. You got to let him play.
You let him roll.
So, again, listen, CP, thank you for giving me all this time on your show.
Appreciate it.
I'll be back listening again tonight. And let me tell you this, if anybody from Knicks management is listening, after that game last weekend, I said I'm not going back to the Garden. Because you fired Fizz, I'm probably going to the game tomorrow night. So they got one fan back in the building. Hey, man, have a good night, all right?
Appreciate it, Dan. Appreciate the support, man. Dan, always a good call. My guy John Smilk, shout out John Smilk. He was on the show over the summer, and we just did a podcast a couple weeks ago. He says, I agree with everything he said. The lineups were poor, as Dan alluded to. The lineups were poor, man. The Randall Morris thing always needed to be broken up. Whether you want to talk about politics or what, that always needed to be broken up. Like I said, I never liked Portis in this lineup, almost ever. Because I just don't see the what contributions he brings to the team. He brought his one thing, which was the Chicago revenge game, and that was about it. So he gave us one of the 4 wins. So salute to Portis for that, but he's been pretty terrible ever since. No consistent sound plan on offense or defense. Completely agree with that. No identity. Completely agree with that. And the young players stop progressing. Whether again. Yes, you can blame. This is the thing. Some people like to say be on one side of the fence or the other. Some people like it's only Fizz's fault, and other people like, well, it's only Mills' fault. It can be both. It can be that Mills and Perry did not put a good roster together, and it could also be that given the pieces that he has, Fizdale has not maximized the potential of this team. Both can be true. And I believe both are true. So, but at the end of the day, the first movable piece, the easiest movable piece is the coach. And if you have so many things that are not going right, you need another direction. You need a new voice. I don't see the opportunity cost being that big by losing them, to be honest with you. As much as I'm disappointed, that we have to go through this again, it just is what it is. Honestly, it just is what it is, man. So, salute to Dan once again. And, listen, you guys know what's going to come. All the media, the naysayers and all of that. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't watch ESPN. Unfortunately, I pay for it as part of my cable package. I like Jalen Rose, though. For some reason, I've been coming around to Jalen Rose. He's pretty good with his takes. I don't watch none of that stuff, so that stuff don't really bother me because I got too much time really just putting this thing together anyway. But I really don't watch any of the major media when it comes to the Knicks because it's just like Dan said, a lot of their views are just very skewed. A lot of their views are skewed. A lot of these guys don't watch the games in and out like we do. But we got enough within our own community of knowledgeable, sound analysis that's not homerism, that calls it down the middle. Somebody mentioned Macri, Knicks Film School, those are my guys. Posting Tosin, Alex Wolf. You got John Schmilk covering the team. You have Hard Knicks Life. You have Locked On Knicks. So there's more than enough within the community to get that sound analysis down the middle. And I'm good. So that stuff, whatever the opinions are from those people out there, they're just doing their job to get their ratings. We don't worry about ratings. We talk it, we call it down the middle, and just let the chips fall where they may. So it's all good. It is what it is. December 15th. I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to that date. That is the date where these veterans are eligible to be moved. That is the date where your free agent acquisitions are eligible to be moved. And I know a lot of you guys, that's the next date that you guys are looking forward to. So maybe it's a good thing that they don't get rid of Perry and Mills right away. These guys have to clean up the mess that they brought in here. And part of that is, to me, you guys don't want it, but to me, try to trade Morris, try to trade Ellington. I think those are your two easier pieces to move. But, do they trade ISO? I don't know. I'm not, that's certainly possible. Do they trade ISO? I'm not sure. I'd like to see him here. I like ISO, but I think that could be a possibility with him being a free agent coming up. A lot to consider. But I'm trying to get back into this first round with Morris as a candidate. And I tell him, listen, if you want to come back, we'll talk in the summertime. And that's it. You know what I mean? I see Stan Van Gundy's name floating around. Stan Van Gundy, his aspirations have been in the front office. With the Magic, he wanted that head coaching and front office role. I don't like that with a guy having both. But if he wanted to come in, be the president, let Jeff coach, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm all for it. CP the artist said, I guess he wants Morris. What do you guys think, man? Would you trade Morris right now? Would you keep Morris? What do you guys think? Let me know. Sherman M says, Allen Houston for president, Jared Jack for coach. I don't know, man. I'm not Jared Jack. Where'd Jared Jack come from? I'd rather go somebody who's been on the bench like a Sam Cassell before I go Jared Jack. I'll tell you that. Definitely not Jared Jack. No way. All right, a couple more calls. 347 area code. What's up, man? Hello?
Hello?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hello?
Sound like you sharpening knives
good.
over
How
there,
you
man.
doing?
You good?
Yeah, see, I was listening to the show, getting ready to get something to eat.
Yeah, sound like you carving up a steak over there, man. What you eating over there, bro?
Almost, brother. Almost. But definitely want to give you brothers a shout out. Obviously, you've been doing a great job. I've been checking you out now for a better part of a year.
Thanks.
And obviously, suffering Knicks fan, I go all the way back and sort of last championships. I'm old school.
Yeah.
And this has been a disaster, which all the callers have said. It's just this firing had to happen. We could not fall any lower than what we were with Fizdale. The coaching has been terrible. Today, I don't know if you saw, there was an article in the Post with Jack Piccaro who talked about a disaster and blamed it on the whole hierarchy, from Dolan all the way down to Mills, right down to Fizdale. Mm-hmm. We've got to start over. They started with that conversation early, saying that we were going to take the long road. Again, we struck out on the big names, but we went with something that didn't work. And we've got to commit to these young guys. There has been no development with Knox. And then, obviously, our boy Mitch has taken a step back. I'm scared for RJ. He started out like gangbusters, and he's starting to fall off. We've just got to go with these guys and play them. Forget the record. This is going to be a 3 to 5 year turnaround where these guys got to come into their prime. These guys are like 19, 20 years old. Professional players, athletes don't reach their peak until they're close to 30 years old, 27, 28, 29 years old. None of these guys are near their peak. We've just got to stay the course, get lucky in the draft, and then down the line, hopefully, as these kids are developing, we can attract a big-name free agent to come and push us over the top. Anything less than that is we're still in this spiral that we're in right now.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
You got to stay the course, man.
So I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for taking the call.
Enjoy
and keep
dinner,
up the good
man.
work.
Thank you, bro.
All
Thanks
right,
for
this
support,
is Mel.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Mel. Enjoy that dinner, Mel. Mel sounded like he was carving up a turkey like it was Thanksgiving at Mel's crib, man. He had us on speakerphone. You heard him like sharpening the knives and stuff. Shout out to Mel, man. Metalboro Peace has put his hat into the ring. Ron Artest wants to come home and coach the Knicks. What do you guys think about that, man? What do you guys think about the true warrior coming home and coaching the squad? Oh, man, that would be funny, man. I love Ron, man. I love Ron. I felt like, obviously, we know he should have been a Knick way earlier than he did in his career. He came during some turmoil, but it was good to see him still have that Knicks jersey on, nevertheless. Salute to Mel. Salute to everybody in the chat once again, man. 1,124 people watching on KnicksFanTV. Salute to you guys. Appreciate the support. This is CP from KnicksFanTV. This is the number one show for the fans, by the fans. Whether you're a Knicks fan, whether you're a basketball fan, man, there's room for everybody, for everybody's opinions. This is a show where you're hearing from a lot of fans right now. You just heard from Mel. You heard from Billy and ATL, Q down in Dallas, Dan from Long Island. A lot of people are on board with this firing, and I think, a lot of you guys are still patient with what's going on. It's been frustrating, obviously. You know that. As someone who's been, covering the ins and outs of this team on a daily basis, it is frustrating. You want to see some sort of sign of positive movement, but again, I can't be mad at this move. I expected it. I didn't think he was going to last through his schedule. This team hadn't been getting any better, and it was just a move that had to be made. So let's see what they come up with next. But certainly I agree with a lot of the points that were made today. Salute to Michael Scott DaCosta checking in from Bermuda. Hey, that's somewhere I'd love to be right now as the winter starts to approach here in New York. Winter's coming. Hasn't been that crazy. It hasn't been that cold, but, it's definitely coming. Roll Brown, appreciate it. Welcome to the chat. Ayo, Emma, what's going on? Gilbert Cole says, was Fizdale actually fired? No, Gilbert. This is just a 5 p.m. Eastern time live stream with 1,000 people watching, speculating on this. Yes, Fizdale has been fired. Confirmed. Ricardo Mendez, what do I think about Stackhouse? Well, we know Stackhouse has had some success with the Toronto G League team. I would certainly entertain Stackhouse. I would certainly entertain Stackhouse for sure. CP the artist is down there in Miami getting his Art Basel on. Hopefully you make some moves, man. Networking and selling some art out there, CP the artist. So appreciate it, man. Mr. Big Shot New Jizzle, I would entertain Chauncey. I would definitely entertain Chauncey. Like I said, the point guards always seem to have a way to have success in the league. Maybe it's just overall just knowing the game, where everybody's supposed to be, and being able to just kind of generate offense and a game plan, because the point guards can see the game like that. The big men always had trouble getting gigs in the league. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for years, and maybe that was because of his political views. He was maybe blackballed, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for years was trying to get a coaching gig. Patrick Ewing never got that head coaching gig. He was always an assistant, but the point guards always seem to have more success in the league as head coaches. Definitely. All right, let's take a couple more. Let's hear from a couple more. Let's go to another 347. What's going on, man? Who's this and where you from?
Hey, this is Fred from Manhattan.
Fred, how you feeling tonight?
Hello?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. Go ahead.
I'm good. Okay. First off, I just want to tell you I'm a season ticket holder, so this thing is hurting me a little bit more than it's hurting a lot of people.
I could imagine, man. I could imagine.
One of your previous callers, he said something I think is really telling, which is what we shouldn't do is make a quick move. Think about it. You know, if you're talking about bringing in Mark Jackson or anyone right now, you can't do that, especially if you're going to end up cleaning cleaning the house in the front office in the summer. I think we got to just kind of stick with whoever we have as the interim coach, at least for the end of this season, and just kind of deal with what we got.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. But, listen, this process that we had to bring Fizz in here, this process was a diligent process. I mean, they looked at 10 or 11 guys. Fizdale, they looked at Budenholzer, they looked at Mark Jackson, Borrego from Charlotte was looked at. They looked at Larinaga, the assistant coach of the Celtics. So they definitely looked at some guys. This was an extensive search. I think Monty Williams was a candidate on that list. So I definitely, the process was thorough. But go ahead.
But we're the Knicks. I mean, we got to bring in a big name, real coach. I mean, Fizdale, he got a good name. He got LeBron is saying that he's good, but we need someone that has the goods. We've been taking all these chances. We've been bringing all these people in with all this potential, and we always end up flat on our face. What we got to do is just, go out there, wait till the end of the season, bring in, if you're going to bring in Ujiri or someone else like that, and then allow him to go out there and find a coach that he could work with, a coach that he could put together, and kind of go on.
So give me a name. Give me a name, man. Who are you thinking? As a season ticket holder, who do you want to see, man, in the bench?
I'm more interested in getting a competent front office in here and letting them do their job and finding someone out there that's good. So instead of us just kind of speculating and kind of throwing out names that sound good, let's just find a competent front office that's proven, that's shown that they can do it, and then let's trust it in them. Okay. So I think that's kind of it. But here's one other thing that I wanted to say that's kind of a little bit controversial. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this. Mm-hmm. But I think, where we are right now, this season is over. I mean, we're not making the playoffs. Maybe we'll get to 20 wins. Maybe we'll get to 25 wins. Whoever we're playing, we're just not making the playoffs. So we've got to, all these vets that we have, Morris's value is up. It's not going up any higher than it is right now. I don't think we should play him at all for the rest of the season. We just kind of sit him down, wait till December 15th or trade deadline or whatever, and get rid of him and try and get whatever assets we can from him. But one trade that I think we should be trying to make is for Chris Paul. And I know the contract is terrible. I know that, we're talking about $40 million for this year and the next 2 years. But, I mean, look at what we've done. We got $80 million in the offseason, and look what we got for it. We got Portis and Wellington and, a bunch of other players that aren't there. For the next year, we're not getting anybody with that $40 million anyway. So we got $40 million this year, which is kind of gone up in smoke. Next year, okay, it's up in smoke. And then in 2 years from now, that's when it might hurt us. But then it's an expiring contract, and we might be able to kind of do something with him. Maybe we could buy him out. Maybe we could extend it like we did with Joakim Noah. Mm-hmm. We can do a lot of things with that. But if you bring him in, that's exactly the kind of player that you get. You bring in Chris Paul, and you let him run the offense. And you let him develop RJ. You let him develop Knox. You let him, we got a lot of shooters on this team. We got Knox. We got Trier who can hit the three. Yeah. You got Dotson who can hit the three. Put those shooters out there. Allow him to pick and roll with Mitch. And then that's real development while we're basically going to stink this year anyway. So at least get the development going. Sit down or get rid of all the vet contracts that we have and play the guy. Play Trier. Play Brzezinkas. Play all these young players and see at the end of the season, we'll get an idea what we want, what we know, what we have. You bring in a real front office, and then they have a better idea of evaluating what talent we have. Because if you bring in a new front office without evaluating the talent, they're dumping everybody. They're getting rid of Knox. They're getting rid of, Trier's gone. All these players that maybe they have potential. The new front office who didn't draft them has no interest in kind of holding on to them. You're just going to get rid of them, and for all we know, we could be getting rid of real jewels.
Okay. Hey, pretty good points.
What do you think about that?
Appreciate the call, man. You know, a lot of people in the fan base, he's not the only one that's been on that CP3 stuff, man. A lot of people been angling to get CP3 in here. I'm not so sure, man. I don't know. I would have to think CP3 wants to go play for a contender, right? Like, you know, he pretty much got exiled to OKC after, you know, the situation he had going in Houston. I thought they had a good situation going in H-Town, man. I don't know. Him and the beard just couldn't get right. But, you know, the character seems to be a little bit iffy. And CPA's just... To me, that would just be like a typical Knicks thing to do to get a player that's just past their prime. He's an injury concern. And CP, he's got a lot of mileage on that tread, man. When he was with the Clippers, he had to be the point guard, the shooting guard, you know, damn near the closer, everything. You know, CP3's logged a lot of miles, man. So it depends on the package. You would really have to fleece the Thunder to get CP3 over here and for me to be happy with it for sure. It would have to be a fleecing, man, no doubt about it. What do you guys in the chat think about that? I haven't, you know, there's a lot of disagreements in there, but I've seen some people that like it, man. All right, a couple more calls, and then we'll take a halftime break and check back in later on this evening. 917, you up next. Who's this and where you from, man?
Yeah, CP, it's CV. Upper West Side, man.
What's up, man? Upper West, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Listen, I hear everybody out there. You know, I understand the frustration and stuff. And the reality is this, man. Mike Miller might be the one that's going to come through. They're going to end up picking him. Knicks might do the same thing that the Jets, the Giants, everybody does. They tank. And towards the end of the year, they win enough games so you're not in the lottery. Or not even close. So that might happen. So let's not be surprised. You know, so that's one thing. Well, the other thing is that I'm going to just say is, as far as Mark Jackson, any new coach, anybody that's going to come in now, it's just not going to happen, man. They're gonna go with someone that's on the staff. I think, you know, Dolan's going to get consulted at the end of the year, and then they're gonna run by Masai Ujiri. They're going to try to get him again. They're going to throw him the house. And, you know, I think Dolan's really hard-pressed on getting him. Again, remember that whole situation with Denver?
Yeah.
How he got fleeced?
Oh, yeah. Then he got fleeced for Bargnani, too. And don't sleep on that one. He got fleeced for Bargnani, too. Man.
And let's keep it 100. You know, the reality is, you know, he did his thing in Toronto. You know, everybody threw shade on him when he fired the coach of the year.
Yeah.
He got Nick Nurse. Nick, keep in mind, Nick Nurse is on the second year of his third-year contract, and he's one of the lower-paying head coaches. So next year is going to be his final year. So, again, you go hard at Messiah. You see what happens there. I think it's a win-win, you know, all around, because we need Mills to get out. You know, unfortunately, Perry's going to have to leave, too. And I think that's just the direction the Knicks are going to go. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think they will go try to get Ujiri. I definitely agree with that. Good point, CV. I think they will, and I think they should. As much as I respected Perry for what he's done so far, obviously, you know, this isn't looking too great. I think if you can get a guy like Ujiri, you gotta try to go get it. I mean, the money doesn't impact the salary cap, so if Dolan wanted to spend $1 billion and give him, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, just do whatever you have to do to get it done. If it costs a pick, then you got to consider, you got to think about it, and you got to see if you can get a little bit extra assets in there by some of these vets and see if you could use that to get them. Because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, he wouldn't come to the Knicks. Hey, listen, money talks, all right? And James Dolan got a lot of money right now, so I wouldn't worry about that at all. You give him a deal he can't refuse and get him in here, you know. And give Ujiri credit, man, because it's not a lot of executives that would do what he did to try to get Toronto that championship. I mean, they traded DeMar DeRozan, who was their captain, their leader, their community leader, the heart and soul of the team. They got him, got Kawhi Leonard, and boom. They fired the coach of the year. The coach of the year, they fired him to bring in Nick Nurse to get him over the hump, and everything just went right with him. Everything just went their way, man. So give them credit. Their gambles paid off. And again, like I said, when you look at this Toronto team, again, I was having a conversation with my uncle about it after we got washed in Toronto, and his point was that, the guys that were playing for Toronto that night, with the exception of Marc Gasol, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, they all came up through that system. So you had almost 11 out of the 13 guys on that court were homegrown talents or damn near close to it. Maybe some journeymen that had previous stops that were shorter previously, but that's what you like to see, man. And this team is clicking on all cylinders right now. Will it be enough to get them to where they need to be? We'll see. People said in the chat, Ujiri said he hates the Knicks on TV. Listen, people. Listen. Money will make you do stupid things, all right? I don't buy into any of that. Well, he said it, so it must means he would turn down a check? No. Please. Come on, man. Come on. You got to get real here, people. It was once said that Phil Jackson would never come here either, and we saw what happened. We saw how that happened, so I don't buy into none of that. I saw the clip where he said he hates the Knicks. Who cares? Money talks, man. That means zero. You could look all through up and down history, whether it's sports, anything. People say one thing, and once that check gets cut, hey, welcome to New York. I'm so thrilled to be here and turn this team around. We want to build a championship here for James Dolan, and we want to bring the Knicks back, 90s Knicks, and trust. That's exactly what Ujiri would be saying if that money's right, so don't sleep. All right, last call before we take a break, 718. What's going on, man? Who's this and where you from?
Yo.
How you been? How you doing, man? Who's
Hello?
this? Yeah, loud and clear, bro.
Yo, what's up, man? This is me. It's here, man, from Brooklyn, New York, man.
Peace, bro. How you feeling tonight, man? How you feeling?
Peace, man. First of all, CP, man, I just got to say I'm a super fan of yours. Been watching you for a hot minute now, man.
Thanks, man.
And I just got to say at the end of the day, man, very therapeutic, brother.
Thank you, bro. That's the purpose of the channel, to get the fans to express themselves and how they feel about the team, and without dealing with a lot of the BS that's out there. So I'm glad you guys find value in it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just another coach fired, CP. Another coach fired.
Another one, man.
And that's what gets me, because I understand, he had his faults and everything. He had big faults. He had favorites, and you can see it also, which no accountability from top to bottom, only to some. So I get the sign, and it just hurts because of our history. I understand with Randall, he gets a free leeway, but yeah, you go and stop someone like Trier when he probably messes up one or two plays. And then Randall's still over there. I get it. It was tough to take, and it's just the history of ours. It's just that really sucks, man. And at this point, what are we really celebrating if the man that hired them is still there?
That's left to be seen.
He's still there.
That's left to be seen how long that lasts. And like I said, because if we don't see that type of improvement from these guys at the end of the season, I think Mills will be gone as well. I think Dolan will hit the complete reset button and nuke this whole thing.
Yeah, because it's like what you said it too. They went through the process correctly. They went through 10 interviews for coaches.
Yeah.
They did the process right, but look how they chose. Their judgment stinks. His judgment stinks.
It's true.
It's just really bad, man. It just adds more insult to the wound like that when they do a whole process, and then out of all you pick that, and it's the same results. Same one. 54 win game was when he was not there. Once he come back, we go right back to the same thing, man. At this point, it's just can y'all please just give me a coach with some common sense? I'm done with the flashy stuff, man. I'm done with the flashy names. I'm done with all that. Give me a coach with common sense, man. That's always really needed right now. Give me a coach of common sense, accountability from top to bottom, because the young boys really did regress. Dennis Smith Jr. is a point guard, and he gives up his dribble.
Yeah.
That's point guard rule number 1.
Same mistakes.
Don't give up your dribble.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Seeing the
same mistakes over and over, and like Clyde on the broadcast. What is your plan B?
Mm-hmm. It's funny
What
you
is
said
your
that,
plan
man.
B?
It's funny you said that, and I appreciate the call, man. You did see constantly, man, all these telecasts of Clyde and Breen were really, subliminal, like just going at Fizz. Like, what's going on right now? What is this guy doing? What is his purpose? Where's the adjustment? Like Clyde said last night, what is the plan B? You just not seeing it, man. And again, as a result, that's where we are, man. Here's a list of coaches in the last 18 years. 12 coaches in the last 18 years. Jeff Van Gundy, D'Antoni, Fizz, Hornacek, Fisher, Rambis, Mike Woodson, Isaiah, Larry Brown, Herb Williams, many times, Lenny Wilkins, Don Chaney. Yeah. In the last 18 years, we've had 12 coaches, people. 12. And Van Gundy was an interim hire. He came in, Don Nelson, in 96. If you guys remember, Don Nelson came in. He wanted to bring that small ball, speed ball rotations and lineups to the 90s Knicks, and Patrick Ewing wasn't having none of that. They had a mutiny on that team and got Don Nelson up out of there. They wanted to run the offense through Anthony Mason. Patrick Ewing caught a little bit of beef. And that could have been the reason why they traded Mason to the Charlotte Hornets, if you guys remember that. There was beef there, so they got rid of Nelson. Brought up Van Gundy. Van Gundy brought it back to the old school. And the rest was history. D'Antoni, a couple playoff stints. Nothing too crazy. Fizz, obviously we know. Hornacek, disaster. Fisher, disaster. Rambis, disaster. Woodson, Knicks tape. Woodson had that 50-win season. Good for him. Isaiah, disaster. Larry Brown, ultimate disaster. Ultimate disaster. He's coming off, a couple of years removed from a championship with the Pistons. We thought everything was going to be right. And the last caller said he just wants a coach with common sense. Or callers say that they just want the right guy or they have to take their time with this. Hey, Larry Brown made as much sense as anybody, right? Larry Brown made as much sense of anybody, and his record with the team was 23-59 was what Larry Brown did. 23-59. So that just goes to show you it's never a slam dunk. It's never a slam dunk. And here's Shams officially announcing Mike Miller would be the interim coach as the Knicks head into Indiana to take on the Pacers. So that's the story, Knicks fans. Let me know how you guys feel in the chat. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section after this video. We're going to try to come on later on tonight. Availability depending. I'll check in with JL, see what he's up to. Hey, appreciate it, man. 1,100 going strong. Appreciate it, man. Jeremy Ryan, welcome to the program. Welcome to the family. If you guys didn't get on tonight, listen, between later and tomorrow, we'll definitely... obviously have a lot to talk about, man, but definitely appreciate all the callers that tuned in, all the viewers that tuned in. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys one more time. We got 1,200 people watching right now. Once again, David Fizdale has been relieved of his duties as the head coach of the New York Knicks. Let me know what you guys think, man. One more thing before I go. Remember, these shows are available in audio podcast format. Every single one of these shows, interviews, podcasts, guest podcasts that I appear on, they're all on the KnicksFanTV podcast platform. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher. So catch me on the road, catch me in the car, catch me be a truck driver on the road, man. Just tune in. It's all up there on demand. This episode will be on later on tonight. Remember, get your Scotch Porter Beard Premium products 50% off all the collections. The link is below. And share this video. Share this video with a Knicks fan. Text a Knicks fan. If you know a Knicks fan that doesn't know about this show, shoot them a text with this video. Let them know about KnicksFanTV. Let them know about the callers that we have and the chats and the special guests that we have on. It's the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, for a reason. It's because you guys support us. So text somebody, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. Let them know where the home of the diehard Knicks fan is, and that's KnicksFanTV. Salute to everybody for watching once again. John Talento Parrish, House Flan, Keith Sinclair, appreciate it. Daryl Jones, appreciate it. Peter Rodriguez, Kevon, Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Stafford Dime, appreciate it. Locks Main, Artist Life. Check you guys, man. See you later, man. Hit that thumbs up button one more time. Peace.